following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
You know what? I think that song is aptly named Stampede. And the Cowboys have stampeded to a 2-0 start, and Everson Walls stampeded into the SWBC podcast studio just in time.
Just in time.
Not to be fined. And here we are. Another winning week of podcast here on DallasCowboys.com, I would say. We are blowing out everybody in the league this week.
It's getting contagious.
That's right.
Getting scary. That's what it is. I don't like getting used to that.
You don't like getting used to it?
I don't like getting
You got to stay on edge.
I want to stay
That's
on
why.
edge.
That's why you came in when you did. We're gonna take it to the limit here.
I cut it pretty close myself.
Yeah, that's because of your long day writing about what you saw on Sunday afternoon at AT&T Stadium. There is so much to write about. There's so much to talk about.
And so much really good stuff about a team that, you know, at some point you sit there and you go, oh, it's only 2 games, but it's 2 spectacular games, especially defensively.
And it's in the last 52 years, there's only one other team that has started a season scoring more than 70 points and giving up fewer than 10 points, and that was the 2019 New England Patriots.
It's rather amazing what they've done. And, you know, the Giants put up 31 points in the second game after getting shut out. So
And you know what? I love that because now it makes the NFC East look as formidable as we said it was going to be in preseason.
7-1.
7-1.
Everybody won
That's
this
right.
week.
And the Commanders, man, that was an impressive comeback.
Yep, they were down 21-3 in Denver on the road, and they come back and they almost blew it.
Giants were down.
They were down 20-0 at halftime,
Right,
and then I
right.
think they were down 21 in the second half.
Yeah.
So the
Biggest comeback since the
28-7.
1940s, I think, right?
The Giants.
1940s.
The Giants, the first 6 quarters of this season, the Giants were shut out 60-0. And then they came back and won the next 2 quarters.
It would make our win look less impressive if they let the Cardinals beat them. They weren't just behind; they were behind against
it's
the
Cardinals
Cardinals.
week. You say nice things about the Cardinals, Everson. You don't
I'm
want
sorry.
bulletin board
Before
material
this
out
week,
there.
we were laughing at the Cardinals, so I'm going to go back to that whole attitude.
And the Cardinals almost won on the road at Washington, and they almost beat the Giants. And now the Cowboys go out there for a second straight home game to take on the Cardinals. You got that right, Mickey.
They're probably wished
Second straight home game.
second straight home game.
The Giants had more fans there than the Cardinals
Well,
did
wait till
yesterday.
you see what the
Well,
Cowboys
you know, the Cowboys
produce.
always have fans
That's
against
right.
the Cardinals.
That's
That's just
right.
ridiculous.
Remember-
even when they were in St. Louis, we got more cheers.
Remember when they were when they first got there and they were playing at Sun Devil Stadium? The only sellout they would get during those early years there was when they played the Cowboys, because all those fans from El Paso would drive to Phoenix for the game.
Because
But
it
what
was
about
closer
St.
to
Louis?
Phoenix than it was
Yes.
to Irving.
What about St. Louis, though? I mean, I remember being in Busch Stadium and just hearing cheers for us throughout the entire game.
I don't know if you realize this, Everson, but you played for America's team.
That's right.
That's right.
So
it was
America
Mid-America's team
they're
also
America.
in St. Louis.
They're in America.
Uh-huh,
That's right.
That's right.
Interesting.
All right, where do we start?
Ooh, boy.
Well, the turning point in the game once again this week was when Micah showed
Once
up.
again.
Or maybe the first 2 of the first 3 plays of the game defensively when DeMarcus Lawrence obliterated Breece Hall on the first play of the game.
4-yard loss.
And then on third down, Micah Parsons loops inside, and there goes Wilson, and sacked him. And it's like, okay, you got your hands full.
You know, Micah will be quick to point out on that sack that his teammates played a big factor in that sack, too.
Well, I'll tell you what.
They got out of the way.
Oso Odigizua cleared out
That's right.
either the center or the guard, and there was a path, 5 yards wide for him to run.
He's playing extremely well.
Yes.
He's playing at an extremely high
Which,
level.
by the way, another sack.
He's tied for the team lead with Micah with 3.
And Micah always helps him get the sacks.
And he only had 4 sacks in his career going into this season.
And you have to look at not just what we did on our first plays defensively, but offensively. The first drive. Well,
How about the coin flip?
Well, yeah, that's what
I don't know why that shocked everybody.
Won the coin flip, take the ball.
Why wouldn't you?
It goes against convention.
We are a defensive team. We are a defensive team. Our strength is with our defense. Everyone expected him to lead off with our strength, especially in a game like this. So
maybe the offensive play caller thinks
the
the strength of the team is his offense.
He showed that.
Or maybe
5 for 5 on the drive, right?
Or maybe when opposing offenses fall behind and they got to come out of character, it helps your defense out. Because all of a sudden, maybe we need to throw the ball.
Yeah, we're down 7-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be
early.
messing
we're down
around.
7-0. It looked like they're going to run. They were going to rout us offensively. That's what it looked like.
It gets back to what Dak's DNA should be, and it was his DNA in his first year in the league. And I need to go back and find my notebook of
The first year?
Because I used to track that first year. I tracked opening drive touchdowns, and more than half their wins that year started with an opening drive touchdown, a mix of the run and the pass.
They rarely played
and getting
from
up
behind.
7-0. It wasn't a field goal
rarely
drive;
played
it
from
was a
behind.
touchdown drive to start the game, and that's exactly what they did yesterday.
Yeah, and that just triggers your defense to put pressure on an opposing team. And then, and if you think about it, I was saying all week, okay, we're going to see if this defense is improved against the run. Well, I would say after 2 games, they've improved against the run, because the leading rusher for the Jets was the quarterback with 5 carries. Desperation to get away from mayhem for 36 yards,
And try to get a score in before the half.
And their 2 running backs that we were so worried about, Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, 15 yards total rushing. 15.
8 carries. You got him with 15.
I thought it was
16 yards.
16. Okay.
Breece Hall had 4 carries for 9 yards, and Dalvin Cook
right.
4 carries for 7 yards, and then Michael Carter had 2 carries for 8 yards. So their running backs totaled 10 carries in the game for, 25 yards?
Yeah.
24 yards.
24, right?
Yeah. When I look at teams like this, it reminds me of 81. Do you want a team to constantly run on you, or would you rather give up a big play every once in a while, a big pass play? If you had the choice, if you had to choose between the two, and we showed in 81, you can give up some big pass plays. Of course, you have to get the turnovers along with that. But we never had anyone run steadily on us in 81. And it really didn't hurt our defense at all by giving up big pass plays, because we usually came around and made plays of our own in the secondary.
And if you think about the big pass play they gave up, the 68-yard one-play drive to Garrett Wilson, as DeMarcus Lawrence so eloquently labeled the play as a cheap-ass play, Malik Hooker comes up and he either takes a bad angle, he slips, he falls, and that's...
It was slow recognition. You could see that as he was backing up, it surprised him. And by the time he saw Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
By the time he saw Wilson, he was almost across him already.
Yeah.
And his reaction was too slow.
Well, and then he slipped and fell, and he had beaten Gilmore, and they had cleared out the other side with a wide receiver to that side crossing, and the Cowboys were in man. And so
did he beat Gilmore? Did
yeah.
he? I wouldn't say he beat him. I think Gilmore was depending on that inside help.
Or maybe that he was supposed to get that help.
He was supposed to get that help. I mean, that's why he's trailing him. Immediately, he trails him from behind as he goes across the field. Now, I don't know if that's by design. Some people like to cover from the outside with leverage. But that wasn't a smart positioning to be in as a cornerback.
But that was their
designed.
only play.
That was it.
The whole game. 68 yards.
To answer your question, I like stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I like
You gotta
you
stop
having
the
a
run.
defense.
Because we saw last year what the downside was of teams rushing against them. Those 2 overtime games, Green Bay had 202 yards rushing, and Jacksonville had 194 yards rushing.
Along with some big pass plays.
Right.
So you'd rather douse the running plays, and if you're going to give
because
up
then
any
you
big
know
plays,
they
it'd
got
be
to
in the
throw,
pass.
right?
Yeah.
And then
one-dimensional.
And then you turn Micah
Mm-hmm.
loose, who, by the way, my Lord.
They had him everywhere. He was everywhere.
And you know what the funny thing was, and I don't know if it was because it was asked this way or not, because the Jets writers were asking questions about the Cowboys stacking the line against the run. I was like, no, they're not stacking the line. They're playing man-to-man coverage, and they started the game off with a 4-3 defense with Micah Parsons, the third linebacker, and he was on the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
They weren't stacking it. They were playing a true 4-3. And then when they see Bell and Wanye Thomas up close, well, they were in man coverages during those times. So it's like, okay, you don't want to throw against that? Well, try to run then, because they're close to the line of scrimmage. But I thought it was funny that their players were talking about, whoa, the Cowboys stacked the line of scrimmage.
So it was their players and not their fans.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
the players.
What's wrong with stacking the line of scrimmage?
That's
If
what
it's
I was
working, who
wondering.
gives a damn?
If you're going
Who
to run the
cares?
ball,
Give me a break. We'll kick your asses. Shut up.
all I know is they had 172 yards rushing last week against the Bills, and this week they had 64.
And 40 of that was from the
That's
quarterback,
Yeah.
basically.
And
64.
we talked about how he could scramble. We talked about that last week. That was the only thing that was going to hurt us, I thought.
Well, and I think they started to fix that a little bit the second half, where
They had spies waiting on him.
well, and they were they were rushing like mad, like their hair was on fire, and no one was staying in their lanes, right?
Both ends were like,
Yeah.
they were going for this one point. All he had to do was step up, and he was just by himself. And they're running into each other, DeMarcus.
That
and
one
Micah
time they
Parsons.
did.
And they were just going after him real hard. Like, guys, put the brakes on and come under. And finally, of course, they started doing that.
You know, I think this week we shouldn't wait until Thursday or Friday to review our picks from the past
Oh,
week.
God. Here we go.
Here we go.
Jeez.
You know, I
He
think
got
we-
one
we should
right.
make
He got nothing to say last week.
We should
you
make
know?
it a Monday tradition, maybe in the first segment on Monday, where we review what we did on Sunday.
I think we'll wait
help me
till
remember
Tuesday.
what was the pod pick for this week. We were picking
I didn't
who
take
would
that
score.
down. I didn't take that
Who
down.
would score the first receiving touchdown for
Of
the
the
Cowboys
season?
this season? Wasn't that the question? I think it was.
Was
It
it?
was,
Yeah.
We had several questions, so I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you know. It was
And who
several
was the
questions.
pick to click?
I had
You
a
got
great
that listed?
pick to click.
Who'd you have?
A CD.
All right. That
I
was
had
it.
CD Lamb.
Ding, 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 ding. That's a winner.
I think you won.
I had CD for pick. to
Because
click.
we couldn't pick Micah. Micah's off the
Right,
table.
yeah, and we
So,
said, you know, Dak is going to be into.
who did you
into that.
have
So you were
Mickey, who did Mickey
referencing
for the pick to click? You got it written down?
I have it.
Okay, Mickey's
Pollard?
pick to click.
Yeah.
Who?
Pollard.
Yeah,
Had
there you
100
go.
and some yards total from scrimmage.
And how many touches? 32 touches,
32
something like
touches.
that? Yeah.
See?
And
He
Bill,
clicked.
Bill had Turpin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How'd he do?
In overtime.
Overtime punt return.
Overtime punt return.
How about the pod pick? It was the important pick because
I don't
that is one.
I don't have that down here.
That is one that goes viral, right? Okay.
It was that big
that's more
pick. Was that the 1 yard touchdown pass or
that would
4
be
yards?
Jake Ferguson. Yes, with the first receiving touchdown of the season.
And really, for 1 yarder, it was very spectacular.
Actually,
touchdown.
it was 4.
And had, by the way,
still spectacular.
Schoonmakers was 1.
And by the way, even the quarterback admits Jake Ferguson should have had 2 touchdowns.
Sure should
Come
have.
on, man.
He sure
Come
should
on,
have.
man. All you got to do is look for Zach, right? You just look for Zach Martin, right?
Yeah.
And come on. Where are you going? He wanted to. I guess,
No, you're talking about Hendershot.
Was that a Hendershot that had
on the run?
On the run.
I'm talking about
the
the pass that was overshot in the end zone of Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Dak
that was
admitted.
bad.
Overshot or Hendershot?
Yeah.
Which was?
But that was, what was his name? The other guy who missed the wide ass hole.
Peyton Hendershot.
No, that's the one who missed the wide hole from Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we'll get into
the
red zone off, or not red zone, goal to goal.
Yeah,
we won't be talking about it. If he
point.
just hits the hole, we won't even be talking about that necessarily.
Well, there was another one, too. Rico Dowdle. When you're running the ball from the 1 yard line, I don't want to see any jump cuts. Just hit the hole. Right? He tried to jump out and then lost 2 yards. What are you doing?
I thought he was.
Maybe
he
that's
saw
when,
something inside that wasn't.
Maybe that's when I got the text
appealing.
from Bill about Ezekiel Elliott.
I didn't say anything about Zeke Elliott.
No, you mentioned.
What I said
I
was
have it right
this
here.
team. Okay, yeah, read what I said. I did not
here.
mention Ezekiel Elliott's name.
I know you didn't.
Right.
No, but you said Cowboys could use a bigger back that can get you in. What you said?
Can get you maybe say 12 touchdowns a season.
About 12 touchdowns on the goal line. You know, a bigger back.
I didn't say anything about Zeke. He's someplace else.
If you had a meme, it'd be wink, wink. You know, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of Mick Shots. Here's a reminder, by the way, we've got more podcasts to come your way, including Hanging with the Boys at 1 o'clock, Players Lounge at 2 o'clock, and every Monday as well, Girls Talk, Boys Talk at 4 o'clock,
Way to
Monday
give 'em a
through
plug, Bill.
Thursday.
We
And
never
Mick
talk
Shots,
about
presented by Miller Lite, continues in a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, we got so much to get to after a 30-10 Cowboys win over the New York Jets. a sweep of the New York teams by a score of 70-10 the first 2 weeks of this season.
That's pretty good. I can go into the offseason at least talking trash to them. Jeez.
Got one more meeting with the Giants here coming up later.
So, Micah Parsons.
Yes.
I decided they need to come up with a new stat. You know how everything in baseball has slash, all the things that he did in the game. If you look at
whether it be like an on-base percentage slash slugging percentage.
If you look at his line, he's got 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, 4 quarterback hits. He has a pass defensed, a fumble forced that he forced and recovered, and would have been returned for a touchdown if not for Tomlinson's calf. He
accidentally grazing up against
when he
him.
got up, right? And the one thing
wasn't that noticeable? Because I really didn't see
it. Wasn't that noticeable?
It wasn't
they did
until
have
they
one shot. They
slowed
finally
it down.
got one shot of it that showed that, okay, maybe it grazed
And you
up
know, the
against.
funny thing is when he recovered the fumble, he was starting to get up, but he lost possession of it and regained it. And I was like, so when he regained it, was his
knee still down? Or?
Yeah, or, you know, that part. But anyway, there's 2 more things I think you have to judge. One, guys false starting in his presence. and then the other thing with him
forcing an interception.
Yes, forcing an interception. That was the other one. Because one of his quarterback hits forced an interception.
Just like last week, the Gilmore interception was caused by Micah's pursuit of the quarterback. And in this one, the same way. In fact, on that one, I think it was right after a sack. And so Nance and Romo were talking Micah, and they basically were almost isolating Micah on the play.
But you couldn't miss him.
Yeah,
because
right.
he came inside.
Right.
The center just, for lack of nothing else, it just grabbed him by his pants.
But it really showed you that I don't know that I've seen, maybe LT was like this.
He was.
But I've seen a player where everybody in the stadium has to figure out where 11 is. And everyone is looking for 11 before the snap of the ball.
Well, I know.
Once again, the difference. LT was mostly in one spot.
Mm-hmm. You have to go searching around.
Because you have to find Micah, and that's like searching for doom.
Where's Waldo?
I know my other one was. So it was like forced penalties, right? Forced false start, forced hold. Because they got called for holding, I think, twice on him, right?
And like you said, on that interception, even though he was being held, he still chased him out of the pocket.
Right.
He went to his right, and that's when he
because there was a flag down that they had to decline.
the flag came right after. They talked about it as it was happening. Oh, there goes the flag, and then he throws the interception.
I mean, absolutely amazing. And
they couldn't stop talking. It's like you talk about a quarterback too much in a ball game. That's how much they talk about Micah Parsons.
I mean, it's 2 games, but, you know, as DeMarcus Lawrence said,
it's 2 years.
Yeah,
it's not 2 games.
What DeMarcus Lawrence said is that, you know, this may be a surprise to some people, but we're showing the world what we can do. And as Dak said early or late last week, he goes, I'm glad to see some other quarterbacks have to see what I saw, meaning from Parsons in training camp. It's like, this is nothing new to us.
You know, the other thing that's nice,
else.
the other thing that's nice about this, and what was the total plays? It was like 87 to 47 or something like that.
47 plays for the Jets.
For the Jets. Micah started the first half of last season was a lot like this, and I think that there was a certain point in the season he got worn down.
2 years, not two games.
And what's nice about this is he had 40 snaps in a 40-0 win in the opener and 41 snaps in a 30-10 win in the second game. And, of course, it's 41 out of 47 snaps, so he played basically the whole game. But he's not playing 80 snaps a game.
Right.
And so he can be able to sustain this if the Cowboys continue. Now, they're not going to continue beating teams 30-10, 40-0 all the time. And Although
we'll take as many as we can.
I'll give a little sneak peek my prediction this week. For you long time Cowboys fans, this could be revenge for a Monday night game back in the 70s against the Cardinals. And that may be my pick this week for the score. All right.
We got to hear about that one. We got to hear about that, Spags.
Okay.
Here's the beauty of the snap counts.
Yes.
So Van Der Esch, Curse, Gilmore, and Diggs played every snap. But it was only 47, so 100%. Next was Parsons with the 41. And after that, nobody played more than Deron Bland's 26 snaps, meaning on the defensive front, Osa and Lawrence were tops at 24. So they basically were out there for half the game. So you're keeping these guys fresh by what they're doing, and not only fresh in the game, they're not worn out today.
Well, a lot of it is not necessarily how you designate who plays, but damn, they're going 3 and out.
Getting off the field, right?
The Jets are only running 47 plays.
They're lucky to go 3 and out. Jeez.
There were some 1 and outs.
Right. So, yeah, it's easy to
Of course, one and out was a 68-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah,
but
so they had possession of 3 plays, 1 play, which was the touchdown, 3 plays, 2 interceptions, or 2 plays, lost the fumble, 3 plays, and then 6 and 5 at the end when the JV got in.
And the drive when he kept scrambling. Correct?
Right.
Yeah.
That was
the end of the half.
That
At
was
the end of the half.
That was 11 plays. Yeah. So these guys ought to be fresh. Get them out there and practice.
They're really looking for things. I mean, the commentators are like, "Oh, wow, they scored here, so they're within 2 scores. Okay, they're two scores, and they're giving them hope." So I don't think they're really ready.
They were trying to keep your attention.
They surely were, because I don't really think they're ready for just how good this defense is.
how about how good this kicker is?
That's your dude, Spags. I got to give you some love on that, man.
Brandon Aubrey.
5 for
That's your
5,
dude. Yeah.
including the 55.
But it's not
yarder.
just the statistics, the 5 for 5. You watching these kicks?
Oh, they're
I mean, they are dead solid, perfect. With length
Who was
and
that guy?
height.
Who was that guy? Blakely back in the day, the kicker from Oklahoma State.
Bailey.
Bailey.
Yeah, Dan Bailey.
Bailey was a hell of a kicker.
Well, he was the last time a Cowboys kicker went 5 for 5 was Dan Bailey about a decade ago.
And he was really smooth the same way.
All 5.
Effortless, looked easy, like a guy that's playing golf.
All 5 between 21 and 55 yards, made his extra point, and again goes 8 for 8 on touchbacks on the kickoffs.
That's big.
And he's just hitting the ball straight. There's none of this fade or hook, which goes back to, I think, what I told you guys when I was talking to him a week or so ago about when he first started kicking and he didn't have any goal posts to go out and kick, so he would kick at a light post. And he said you had to hit it straight to hit the light post. And that's how he
It wasn't good
practiced.
unless it hit the light post.
He was aiming for the light post. So it wasn't trying to hook it between 2 uprights.
I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to be that good.
On the 55-yarder, okay, I was watching on television. I mean, it hit high back on the net.
Oh, yeah.
That looked like on television it might have been good from 70. I mean, it was so high and true, and
it was as pretty as the thicker kicker's 61-yarder to walk off.
Oh, we forgot about that. I tried my best to forget about that.
And the coach for Missouri tried his best not to allow him to kick
55 would have been too close. He
backed him up with a delay of game
or
penalty.
56, trying to decide what he was going to do.
His nickname is the thicker kicker?
The thicker kicker.
Okay. And so Missouri was a winner over K-State.
He's probably 200 pounds. How many kickers are 200 pounds?
At that height.
He looked bigger than 200 pounds.
Well, I said
he
at
looked
least
like a lineman.
Yeah.
What number did he wear? Was it a lineman number?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's a
That
kicker.
makes him look bigger, too.
Something.
just
Like
threw him a
78 or
jersey.
something like
They
that.
just threw him
yeah.
a jersey. He's a kicker. They just, hey, man, here's your uniform. That's it.
And Grambling won?
Yes, he did.
All right.
It's Florida Memorial High School.
Oh, that's
like you said.
right.
Florida Memorial.
High school. We said that last week. 58-22. So we treated them like we've been treated all season.
We got
long.
3 wins.
And show of hands, who stayed up till 1:30 in the morning on Sunday?
Oh, my God. I was so tired. I
did
was
too.
so tired. Please win this game. It was good, though. I
It
enjoyed
was.
A lot of drama and emotion.
And
by the way,
I like Jay Norvell's team, Colorado State, too.
I don't like the cheap shots.
No, I didn't like cheap shots,
They
but
seem
no.
to be, headed towards that from the beginning of the game.
Right.
And when his son was sacked by number 8, that was clearly a
How
cheap
does that
shot.
guy do that? Not only was it late, it was targeting.
Yeah, it was targeted.
And worst of all, it's in a overtime possession when they had 2 personal fouls in that second possession. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Once again, I think that came from the coach, really. I think that's the attitude that he showed them. I'm not happy with that at all. And so Shador was upset at the end of the game. You saw when the 2 coaches came, they were about to separate, and Shador like showing his watch. That's the thing I think the young kids do. Showing the watch.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess it means it's my time. I don't know. Something.
Okay.
But it means it ain't your time. So it definitely means that. It didn't work for you. And, and he probably took it personal because he thinks that number 8 was instructed to try and hurt me. And that to me is
But
BS.
I just don't think you do that in overtime. When 15 yards, you're starting at the 25, that you're just giving them a touchdown.
And Hunter had to. He's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks.
And
of
it's
that
most
sternum
critical
shot.
part of their season. They play at Oregon
Did
this
they
week and
finally
then SC the
diagnose
next
what
week.
he had?
I don't know, but that I can
heard.
clearly see it's a sternum shot.
Yeah,
and that is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And for the fact that he was able to play a number of plays after that and still eventually had to leave the game, I thought number 11 should have been kicked out as well.
How about Deion? His line of sunglasses dropped on Saturday.
Yeah, he couldn't see.
So he was handing out sunglasses. Did you watch the game day thing at 9? So
I did
it's
not.
8 o'clock in the morning in Boulder. I don't know how they got that many kids up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday
Everybody's
morning.
up for Deion.
And so they got Don Johnson on as the guest picker. I don't know what the connection between Colorado and Colorado State with Don Johnson, and they asked him what he thought of what Deion was doing. Well, he gave a 3-minute dissertation on all the great stuff Deion was doing, and not just from football, but with the kids, going to class, the whole bit. And Deion's on set when he's saying all this stuff. And when he finishes, Deion gets up and he goes, "All you high school kids, did you hear that?"
He's recruiting as we speak.
And I had somebody that would know tell me that talking to somebody that was in the recruiting department at Colorado, they've already had 100 phone calls from kids wanting to visit.
Yeah.
They weren't recruiting them.
Yeah.
The kids were recruiting them already. So what was that?
Producer Supreme just informed me. I was sitting there looking for Don Johnson. What was Don Johnson here? It's Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
What did I say?
I said Don Johnson, like Miami Vice. I was sitting there going,
the connection is Florida, Miami Vice. That's what I'm thinking.
and I was sitting there going,
The Don
Okay,
Johnson.
well,
we got to
Dwayne
explain
Johnson-
to people. We got to
Crockett and
explain
Tubbs.
to
I'm thinking
people.
Crockett and Tubbs.
I was going to say we need to explain to the younger generation who Don Johnson is, but the younger generation ain't listening to Mick.
So
Shots.
what's the
not
connection? What's the connection with Dwayne? And yes, they are, by the way. You guys, you just tell them what the people at the Star Sports Tour reception, all the young kids come up to us. And
We're great questions.
Yeah.
They love us too. They do.
they know exactly
they listen
who
to
we
us,
are.
man.
Now, maybe
Yeah,
not
they
an
listen
old
to
guy
us.
on Channel 11,
Right.
but we go nationally
But
here.
they really would listen to The Rock.
So what's his connection?
Dwayne Johnson.
So what's his connection
Hollywood, baby.
to Colorado and Colorado
Hollywood.
State?
That's it.
Okay.
It's Deion. Deion has a connection everywhere.
One more note on Deion. What I really liked in overtime, okay, I couldn't figure out. All right, Colorado had the ball first in the first overtime.
Yeah, why'd they get it again?
And then in the second overtime starts, and Colorado's got the ball first again. So I tweeted out, why is Colorado getting the ball first again? And then someone said, well, Deion won the coin flip, and he wanted the football first. Okay. The conventional wisdom is you take the ball last so you know exactly what you have to do, whether score a touchdown, kick a field goal, or whatever. But I love it. I was thinking about it later. That fits Deion's coaching philosophy with this team to a T. It's like, we coming, we're here. Right. It's like, and think about how much pressure that put on Colorado State to try to match what they did. He had so much confidence in his offense, kind of like Mike McCarthy confidence in the Cowboys offense, taking the ball to start the game, that we're going to score a touchdown here and we're going to put the pressure on the other team.
But I do have to say that, Colorado State wasn't that impressive to me as a team. I thought they played well against Colorado, but I don't think they didn't impress me leading up to this game.
Quarterback was good.
He was good, but I don't know if he was that good.
I thought
he's from here. He's from Alito.
Is he really? He was throwing some zingers
really
in there.
Throwing it in there.
I guarantee you,
that touchdown he to the tight end, perfect pass, perfect catch. Number 7 missed.
Oh yeah, how about that tight end?
Man, tough stuff.
I already got his name.
He's going to be in the transfer portal next year.
He'll be coming to Colorado?
No, he's not going to be in the transfer portal. He's going to be in the big green notebook. He's going into the draft. All right, we continue with more Mick shots in just a moment.
You don't know how old he is. Come on.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Check out the latest and greatest addition to tours at AT&T Stadium and the Star in Frisco. Meet Jerry Jones, an interactive experience. Get a peek behind the curtain and into the fascinating life of Jerry Jones. With a focus on innovative fan experience in partnership with AT&T, this interactive technology gives tourgoers the opportunity to ask Mr. Jones a variety of questions. For more information and to book your tour, visit DallasCowboys.com/tours.
All right, we did review our picks to click, and we all picked the Cowboys to win. Everson, do you have a winner as far as who got closest on the score? I had 22-16. I did not win.
26-16 for Spags.
Okay.
28-17 for me. So ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Everson is the winner.
Got me
CD
by
Lamb
2
as
points.
well.
Wow, double
That's
victory
right,
for
baby.
Everson.
Although your 17 was over.
Well, sorry. Excuse me.
Margin of victory is what we're going with, right?
All right.
Unless it's all the same, which was last week. 3-point wins, I think, last week. And so you go with closest to the Cowboys score, and that was me.
That was you.
With 30.
That's exactly right.
So I missed by 4 and 6. That's 10.
You don't trust our offense like we do.
Yeah, and you had 27.
All right, what else you got on your legal pad there, either from the post game or during the game, pre-game?
We were going to discuss the problems close to the goal line.
Yes.
We mentioned a couple plays that would have turned all that around. There is part of me thinking that Mike McCarthy knew they had this game in the bag. And when they got those possessions when did they kick off? They kicked 2 field goals. They kicked 4 field goals in the second half. There was part of me thinking the play calls that were going on that he was sandbagging. That he was like, I'm not showing Arizona, New England, and San Francisco what we're doing close to the goal line. Because they kept handing the ball off and handing the ball off and throwing little swing passes to the outside.
Well, if you review, 18-10 game at halftime. So we're talking second half stuff here, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the first time they had it down there, it was the Hendershot tight end run.
Right.
Okay. So that was a play that looked like it was going to work, right?
Should have.
Should have worked, wasn't executed properly, right? And then it was a Rico Dowdle loss of 2, incomplete pass on the Dak overthrow
to Ferguson.
Of Ferguson. And so you can't argue with the play call.
Payback for the first week.
And that was also the Rico run that he tried to jump outside.
Right. Okay, so was that when I sent the text? No, I don't think so. Anyway, so it was 21-10 at that point. Then it was the Micah fumble return that got called back on review, and so it was a 3 and out, and that was the 55-yard field goal.
Right.
So now it's 24-10. Next possession, Cowboys go 71 yards in 12 plays. There's 12:23 left in the game when they kick the 26-yard field goal. And on that one was a Pollard -4 from the 9-yard line that Bryce Huff made the play on. 2nd and goal at the 13. It was Pollard for 2, completion to Pollard for 3, and so you weren't really right down on the goal line there.
But you weren't really.
You weren't, yeah.
You weren't like aggressively attacking.
And I agree with you on that. With your first, the only way at that point, 24-10. The only way the Jets are getting back in this game is if you made some colossal mistake in a fumble or whatever, and they returned it 90 yards for a touchdown.
Don't even give them the opportunity.
So don't give them the chance. Kick your field goal. Take a 17-point lead, a 3-score lead in the game, and so there's no reason to chance anything down there on that one, right?
And not just that. It's a damn good Jets defense.
Right,
right.
You
and so you
can't
give them
easily
credit,
get
too.
into some situations.
But the last
that you didn't mean
one,
to.
After the Curse interception.
Okay, and on that one, it was first and goal at the 6.
Pollard up the middle.
Nothing.
Pollard up the middle, touchdown, Tyron Smith holding.
So there was a touchdown there.
Well, there was. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the hold had anything to do with it because he pancaked that guy and pushed him to the ground.
He was trying to come down the line, and he kind of held him here.
Right. That could have not been called.
He may have grabbed him, but I don't think it would have been enough.
It's one of those things where guys are beat, they turn to run, and then it looks like you got your hands on.
Right.
That's what happened on the hold on. Was it a punt return? They called somebody on a punt return for the Cowboys for holding in the middle of the field. And that's what happened. He had him blocked. The guy turned to run, and he had his hands on his back.
Okay, so if you look at the look at the red zone though,
2nd and goal
each drive,
at the 16.
You had someone that could have scored.
Right.
I mean, it was successful except for the mistakes that were made. So, like I keep talking about the tight end reverse or inside handoff. It was right there, right off of the best offensive lineman on the team.
Difference was you don't have a guy who's normally accustomed to running with the football.
You got to know that when they say, okay, here's the hole you look for, there's Zach. You've got to know that they said that. So I don't know where the hell he was going. So you could look at that red zone as an easy score as well.
And then on that same one was where you had the overthrow of Ferguson in the back of the end zone. And CD was open on the other side of the
right.
But
you
can't
you can't look both.
Yeah, they keep saying, well, CD was open. Yeah, but look it over here. I don't have time to be.
Exactly. The play is going that way.
I hate it when they say that.
I agree.
But then on 3rd and goal to 15, if you were in a tight game, you're not handing the ball to Pollard, right? And he loses.
So we just solved the red zone problems.
Yes.
That was our own mistakes.
Get out on that practice field and just keep working away at it. And so
I just wanted to see.
It's over already.
I wanted to see them attacking the edge more than they did in the first game, because we were talking about they don't really have somebody to power the ball up the middle
as running. As far as running goes.
Even running it, get it to the edge.
Because they attacked it pass wise.
How many times are you going to run into Quinnen Williams?
They just want to soften them up.
Especially when you had your 3rd guard in the game, or maybe 4th, right? Because I think didn't Richards?
Yeah, it's really your 4th. Because I mean, you're thinking about it. It's
Idogo
is the 3rd guard, and so T.J. Bass is the 4th guard.
Oh, when you're counting the start, I meant the 3rd left guard.
Oh,
yeah. Then I think Richards got. Oh, because Martin went out. Remember?
Yeah.
And so I asked Martin. I said. So
he was back in for victory formation.
I said you needed a rest, and he kind of laughed because he went back in for the victory formation, right? So Richards and Bass were in there at one point.
All right, that does it. And Everson, you've got the promo there. Next podcast.
The next podcast will be 1 o'clock, Hanging with the Boys. Now, after that, 2 o'clock, Players Lounge. 3 o'clock, Media Mash. Oh, Wednesday and Thursday only, sorry. 4 o'clock, Girls Talk, Boys Talk, Monday through Thursday only. All right.
All right. And that does it for Mick Shots, which you can hear
There's your
each and every day at noon. It's presented by Miller Lite.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!